Raylana and her friend just bust open my door.
Yeah, let's get to the part about her pulling the pistol.
The gun fell, and I reached down in my pants so I could pull it out.
Ooh, bad girls you love to hate. Today on Judge Joe Brown.
A babysitter takes a drawn gun as her cue to quit. Customer service representative Carla Harper is suing her grandson's former babysitter for advance payment on services. Defendant Brittany Tishner says the money was for past work. Now, here's Judge Joe Brown.
Ms. Harper, it would appear that you're suing Ms. Tishner because she has not performed, what do you put it, babysitting services for your grandchild that you prepaid to her.
That's correct.
The defense you give is that due to the conduct of the mother of the grandchild, it would be both unsafe and improper for you to perform in such tasks.
Yes, Judge Joe Brown.
You first. By the way, you come up. You're the mother.
Okay. On Thursday, March 26th, I paid Brittany $300 to babysit Giovanni for the month of April.
That child is now
13 months.
13 months. And let's see, your daughter is what, 14?
Yes, sir. Okay, Brittany did babysit Giovanni for a
You're
week.
34, right?
Yes, I am. Okay, so the week prior to me paying Brittany $300, I did pay her $80 to babysit for that week. Then on that following Thursday, to start as of April, I gave her $300 cash and brought the baby. 2 days later, she sent me a text message and told me she couldn't babysit.
Why did you need to take the child over there for her to babysit anyway?
Because I work. And,
you work?
Yes.
Are you in school?
Yes.
What grade are you in?
9th.
9th grade.
Yeah.
Okay. So when was the defendant supposed to get your child, your grandchild?
She had been babysitting as of the week prior to the week that I paid her the $300.
She says that in her math, you hadn't paid her for that week.
Well, I did.
And that the payment was tendered after the completion of the task. Not prepaid, but paid after she completed the task.
No.
That's her version. I mean, you make
that's incorrect. Because I paid Brittany.
Where was the babysitting supposed to be done?
At Brittany's house.
Supposed to be at your place. Is that a home or apartment?
It's an apartment.
Now, who's supposed to bring the child over there?
I bring him. I bring him every morning. I pick him up. I make sure he has everything that he needs.
If that is the case, then why did you show up over at her apartment? You acknowledge you did. You say that it doesn't make any difference just because there was how do you put it, a little disagreement between yourself and the defendant. How did that happen?
All right, well, I was going to pick up my son and my clothes from Brittany's house because I was staying with her. And I moved out.
You were staying with her?
Yeah.
Now, you went over there to pick up your stuff and the child. What happened?
Okay.
What is this little fight?
I was at my mom's house before I went to go pick up my son. I told my mom I was going to go pick up my son. And so I went to Brittany's house to go pick up my things and go pick up my son. So I'm going in, I'm picking up all my stuff and this and this. And so Brittany won't stop me, and Brittany tells me, she's like, well, I don't know what you're going to do, but Miss Carla told me that you can't take Giovanni. So I told her, I'm like this. Well, that's my baby, and if I feel like I'm gonna take him. You feel me? And so then I gathered up all my things, and I told my friend Demi to take my son downstairs. And I'm getting all my other clothes, and me and Brittany are going back and forth. And prior then,
how old were you then? Just turned
I'm
14.
15.
14?
I'm 15.
You're 14.
I'm
You're 15 now. Oh my. Let's go to the defendant. What happened on the afternoon or evening in question that she's talking about?
Okay, well, I was at home. I didn't get a call before she even came over at all saying
You're
that
a
she's
student,
coming.
right?
Yeah.
Work too?
No, I'm on unemployment right now.
But you're a student?
Yeah, I'm a student.
That's job enough.
I didn't get a call before, saying, Raylana's coming over, just to let you know so I could be prepared. I'm at home. Raylana and her friend just bust open my door, okay? She
Bust open? What do you mean by that?
She opened my door, came in.
Did knock?
Did knock. Came in, took Giovanni from my hands, just really totally just disrespectful. Just
All right, now,
out of
stop there a minute. I want to go back in time. How did you come to be acquainted with the young lady?
Well, this lady from church, her daughter had told me about her. And she was like, well, she doesn't have a place to stay. And I was like, okay, well, if that was me in that situation.
You're doing good Christian charity, right? Mm-hmm. So what'd you do?
I was like, okay, well, you're more than welcome to come stay with me. More than welcome. And she was like, okay, it was fine then, and then a couple weeks after, personalities clashed. So
well, I imagine they would from what you described. You're the one who's on the lease for the apartment, paying the rent. Mm-hmm. So what happens now? She cops this attitude on you.
Mm-hmm. It's just the reason why I mainly kicked her out was because of this disrespect. You don't bring people in my house 1 o'clock in the morning and then they don't.
1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm wrong. It's not afternoon. I saw 1. I just knew we're talking about afternoon, not 1 a.m. Somebody walks in your door unannounced at 1 a.m. The person with her, was it male or female?
At first, I thought it was a party because it was something to do with Mardi Gras, and I thought they're going to.
The person that came with her, was he male? Was it a he or a she?
It was a lot of guys and some females.
So all these strange guys come in your place at 1 a.m. in the morning unannounced, just open walk on in.
And I told her, and I did get an attitude. I'm not going to lie, I did get an attitude because I'm like, Raylana, I thought you guys were leaving to Ogden to go.
So you asked her to leave, right?
Yeah.
Did it end at that point?
No, she said, well, I'm trying to get him out. I was like, okay. So I waited. So the next morning, so I go to bed. The next morning,
it went further.
Still a party. Still there the next day.
You couldn't get them out of your apartment. They said, we're going to bogart the place. We're here, we're partying, you don't like it, put earplugs in. Go back to bed.
Exactly.
Next morning, what happens? Since they took your place over.
There's still people over my house. And it just really hurt me and just really disrespectful because it's like, I told her, before you bring somebody over my house, just out of respect, just tell me or ask me. I'm
still concerned about the extent to which this thing escalated somewhat later. What happened? Let's go there. She had left all these people in your place.
I never left anybody in your house.
I love this. She comes over to man's a kid 1 a.m., leaves all these strange men at your house, takes the place over. Next morning they're there. Be quiet. You weren't there, and then she shows back up.
This is a whole different story.
What happens when she shows back up after she brought all these people in your house?
I think it was like the next week after I had kicked her out because I couldn't take it. And then she came back over to get her stuff. She had brought, her friends were waiting downstairs besides one of her friends who came up to hold the baby, which she went downstairs with her baby. So I went back there, making sure she wasn't taking any of my stuff. So after that, we were cussing at each other. She was saying, well, you don't even have my baby stuff in. I was like, well, you don't even take care of your baby that well. And I kicked her in her stomach. I kicked her. I let you talk. Let me talk.
Well, bottom line is, before the thing, be quiet. Let's get to the part about her pulling the pistol on you.
Okay, this is the. She was coming up to me, and out of defense, I kicked her in her stomach.
It was a toy. It wasn't even a real gun.
Toy.
It was an airsoft gun, and what happened was Brittany kicked me. We weren't even nowhere near the door. Brittany kicked me.
Yeah, so you broke off in there gonna brandish a toy gun.
So after I kicked her in her stomach, I ran, of course, because she fell down and I ran. My friend said she pulled out.
The gun fell. The gun fell, and I reached down in my pants so I could pull it out, so I could fight
Enough said. End of it.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
That means you were 13 when you got impregnated, right?
Yes, I was.
Bad girls you love to hate today on Judge Joe Brown.
We're back with Judge Joe Brown. The defendant in this case says she was doing the plaintiff's daughter a favor, and it turned out to be a nightmare. After caring for the plaintiff's grandson, she was forced to defend herself against his gun-toting mother. Let's take a look.
I bet you haven't even made a claim for child support, have you?
Actually, yes, I have.
That means you were 13 when you got impregnated, right?
Yes, I was.
Are they haven't prosecuted somebody for having sex with a 13-year-old who is not competent to consent? That's a felony. I think it carries 25 minimum.
But that really doesn't
So we
have
got
anything
somebody
to
ought to be
do with
doing
the fact
25
that Brittany
years minimum in the
is-
penitentiary.
got paid for babysitting and didn't do the job for that week.
I'm not going to deal with this. Why don't you get your household in order? You had her when you were, what?
Wait a minute. This don't, my household is in order.
You had her early.
I did. I
You're
had my daughter when I
34.
was
She's
19 years
19.
old.
You go
Yes,
take
I
off
did.
from the job
I
and you
paid
go
Brittany.
take care of
Brittany
this
agreed
hood
to
rat over
babysit.
here.
Brittany
Comes up
agreed
in
to
here and got
babysit.
the
And
gun.
then-
What are you
and then-
doing with one? You're a minor. You're not entitled to have a firearm or
But what
anything
does
that
that
looks
have to
like
do
it.
with her
So
owing me
you
more
go
money
to this
for
woman's house
babysitting?
after you sit there bogarted, put strange men in there who decided they're going to take her place
Y'all,
over,
this is
spend the
ridiculous.
night, and then you come back again next week. You bring a sidearm with you. Hey, oh, he fell on the ground. That's when she, oh, no, out of here. Bye. No how, no way. Denied.
This courtroom is now in recess.
Hell no.
What started as a favor for a church friend ended with some serious and dangerous drama for the defendant. The judge throws out the plaintiff's case.